Good morning or good afternoon, everyone. Hey, happy Friday. How fun is that it's Friday and it's almost time for self-care Saturday and Sunday, although I think self-care should be every day, so there it is. I had some interesting questions asked of me lately in private messages, and I thought they were really good ones, so I wanted to share them here because manifestation is law of attraction and manifestation. I am all about that. I love that. And I love teaching that. And part of that can be that our thoughts and our words become things, right? That's part of, what it means and what that whole, it is Friday. Hello, it is Friday, Chelsea. And thoughts and your words and thoughts become things is part of that whole theory, law of attraction and manifesting. So how is it, and I just talked about recently going through like a dark night of the soul, and that can also be called shadow work, where we really, it's almost like a purging of old programming, old beliefs, limiting beliefs, old thoughts, things that, old pain, so it can be even some trauma, it can be all the different things. And so I went through that recently, a really pretty big episode of it, probably my biggest in my entire life, which was really, and they come to you for a reason. Like, this is part of your spiritual journey. I know it's kind of scary and it feels uncomfortable. But in my other video, I had said like surrender and allow, because if we don't and we resist, then it just stays there and continues to fester and continues to get in our way and block us from what we want to manifest. So the law of attraction is true that even if we consciously say, I want to manifest this, if inside subconsciously you're like, yeah, right, no, you're not good enough for that. Nope, you can't do that. It's too late. You're too old, too young, whatever. Then it's the subconscious ends up usually taking over. And that's the energy that we put out, even if we don't realize that we are. So yeah, all that stuff matters. So the question that someone asked me was, what happens during these shadow work and the dark night of the soul when you're feeling like literal shit and all of the thoughts, all of the trauma, all the bad things are coming up? Part of shadow work is when we see parts of ourselves that we don't like, or that we don't love, or decisions we made, actions we took, things we said that we're not really proud of. That's part of it too. I mean, yes, there are no mistakes. I will say it every time, that our spiritual journeys are what they are. And we are always operating at the level of consciousness that we have, that we're meant to have in that moment. And we always have the experiences we're meant to have to learn from, even if they suck. Okay. So there's that. But, sometimes we have regret over things. We're human, and it doesn't help us to live in regret, because then we live in the past, which there's no opportunity for the present or the future when we live back there, or we live ahead worrying about the future. It's here and now. But there are things that we don't love about ourselves. Maybe we, said something to someone. There are things that people did to us or said to us that we don't like, that turned into limiting beliefs or that we took to heart. There are also times when we've done things sometimes that we're like, ugh, and that turns into part of our shadow. It's part of ourselves we don't want to see, we don't want to look at. And if you notice, sometimes we criticize other people for that very thing that we don't like about ourselves. This is the age of Karening, that comes from massive unhealed trauma. So I don't take Karening personally when I see it or I come across it in the world, because that's just a trauma response. People who are basically pointing the fingers and, triggered by someone else for a part of themselves that they don't like, or something that they did at one point, or some guilt within them or trauma within them. That's it. So we have to look at it, and we need to acknowledge it, and we need to be able to see it, find it, hear it, taste it, feel it. So are you going to manifest bad shit if you think or say bad things, or you have dark thoughts? And that's because that's another people, when I have messaged, the people who message me, they were like afraid, like, what if, I'm going through all this shadow work and this dark night of the soul, and I'm thinking all these bad things, and I'm just, saying all these bad things, and I want to say these bad things, like, am I going to bring that back to me? And the answer is no. Like, Spirit knows when you're going through something. Let's give Spirit more credit. First of all, Spirit knows all. It is the all-knowing. All that is. So it knows the difference between when you're just spouting off some shit because you're trying to release it, or you're thinking bad thoughts because maybe you're in a place where you're doing shadow work, plus it was like, there were a bunch of planetary shifts, all the retrogrades, and I was going through a hormonal point in my cycle. That's real talk, right? So all those factors, Spirit knows that. Like, Spirit knows all the factors. Because believe me, when I was going through this, I said some things that were dark. Things about myself that I didn't like. I spewed out mistakes that I felt I made, things that I hated that I did, parts of myself that I didn't want to look at, that I was like pissed off at, that I regretted. I had dark thoughts about like, what am I even doing here? Like, I went all in. So I want you to know that if you feel that way, I'm just holding space for you and just, giving you permission to feel that way. That even if you're a healer, an intuitive, a coach, a therapist, or you've done all this inner work, that's still going to come up, and it's okay. You don't have to beat yourself up or think I'm weird or I'm wrong or I'm scary or I'm this and that. No, it's part of it. And guess what? I let it all come out. I just said it all. I didn't want to, sometimes I don't feel like writing. You can write it and journal it, but I just said it. And my husband was like, my husband's so he's awesome. He just held space for me. 'Cause I'm like, don't fix this for me. Just, he's just sitting there sort of supporting me and holding space. But I know at some points, some of the things that I said, he was like, whoa, are you okay? Do we need to do something here? And I know. And I let everything that I was angry about, from childhood on that came up, I let it all out, man. I just had it. I just let it, and I said it. And and it had to come out. It had to be purged. It had to be seen, heard, and validated and brought to the light. Any darkness, when it comes into the light, is transmuted into light. That's how it works. And so in order for us to, I'm not saying you skip it, don't skip feeling it, don't skip saying it. I said the shit. I was crying, sobbing, screaming. I'm sure the whole house was like, well then, and I didn't care who heard me. I didn't care, because I was going to go through this. I was going to walk through this because I wanted to get past it. I knew it was a recurring pattern and I needed to get through it. Is it totally gone? No, I'll go through more. You'll go through more. We're always learning. Okay. And things come up, even when we've done the work. But I'll tell you what, after a couple of days, when I just said all that, the clarity that came after that, the calm, the clarity, and the compassion for myself, it really all came through. My empathic side, which you all are too, came and just said, okay, I held space for me. When in that moment, I didn't want to hold space for myself. I was just pissed. I was just sad and angry. And my husband was great to hold space, but if you don't have a partner who you can do it for yourself, or you can find someone, even whether it's a professional or not, who can do this with you, or a coach, counselor, therapist. You don't have to go through it alone, but know if you for your situation is that you need to, you can just have some sort of support nearby, whether it's podcasts, videos, classes, have some way to connect with, some sort of a spiritual grounding while you're doing it. But it doesn't mean I'm going to manifest danger. It doesn't mean I'm going to manifest evil. It doesn't mean I'm leaving myself vulnerable to be taken over by any dark entities or energies. It doesn't mean that I'm going to manifest more misery or bad luck or bullshit into my life, or manifest the problems that I was talking about. I'm going to manifest them back. When we do, no, Spirit knows you're going through a purge, and it needs to be said, it needs to be heard and processed. It needs to be brought to the light. It needs to be brought to the light so it can be transmuted into whatever it's going to be transmuted to. It's when we live in that space that we end up manifesting some of that. And that's why I had to purge it. There was a recurring pattern in my life that I kept manifesting, and I just fucking had it. I'm 50, so it took me this long. So don't think Don't beat yourself up saying it's been forever. No, just keep going, keep going. Your timing is your timing. But I had to name it and say it and let it go. And, you know, like that's it. You're not manifesting it. It's when we live there over and over and over and over and over again, and we see the world from that lens, that's when we manifest those types of things that we don't love. And I'm not saying, please, like, I know some folks are like, think this is bypassing and like think that this is like victim blaming, shaming, like you attract, you know, bad, horrible things into your life. That's not what I'm saying. Like, some things are accidents or assaults or just bad things. Okay. That I'm talking about recurring patterns in our emotional life, in our thoughts, our self-talk, or recurring situations in our lives that are stressful, like getting into toxic relationships, like not being able to manifest money, like always struggling to figure out something. And you know what I mean. And if we continue to do that, it manifests eventually in our physical body, and we get physical symptoms that say, yeah, you've been dealing with this too long. We're going to slow you down. And so that's what I'm talking about. And then we see the world from a lens of, I'm bad with money. Money doesn't grow on trees. I can never attract a soulmate. I don't know how to, I always attract people who leave me. I have friends who drain me. I can't, every job, jobs are just here to pay the bills. They're not supposed to be enjoyable. I'll never have a job that I like. I just have to pay the bills and that's it. Life's a bitch and then you die. You know that one? That's that's not my favorite. I hate that. I cringe when I hear that statement. Life's a bitch and then you die. What the fuck is that? If you see the world from that lens, that's what you're getting. I've never seen anybody manifest their best life from that attitude. Like, that's how I feel about the world, and they're not going to manifest all the money, all the love, all the health, all the, abundance. Just ain't going to happen. We might feel that way sometimes. Like during your shadow sesh or your dark night, if you're like, life's a bitch, and then go ahead. Spirit knows the difference. You're not going to manifest that. And I guarantee you, after you say that during a dark night of the soul, then after you get out of it, you're going to be like, wow, I don't like that statement anymore. It just doesn't feel authentic anymore. Because it's not. It's someone else's belief. They planted onto you. So, and we'll find more evidence of life's a bitch and then you die when we say that. We'll just find evidence of it. That's the law of attraction. I'm not saying it's your fault. You're bringing all these things to you. It's just you'll find evidence of it. That's all. But the purpose of this video is to just, give you permission during your dark nights of the soul to let all that shit out. Say what you got to say, even if it's dark. Think what you have to think, even if it's dark. Because just denying it and resisting it means it's just going to sit there and fester again and again and again. And it hurts. It gets aggravating. It hurts until you're sick and tired of being sick and tired. And you're like, ah. So that's it, my friends. That's it, my lovely friends. I love you all so much. Hello to hey, Melissa, preacher girl. Yes. Chelsea and Mercy and Deanne and Paula. You guys are awesome. Thank you so much. My group is back open, Divinely Inspired Life. That's the name for today. It'll probably change again. And my New Year's reading with chakra clearing meditation download is available and open. So if you go to my link tree or go to jenrapinion.com, you can click on the first button, New Year's reading. It's a full, every aspect of your life, a huge giant tarot reading on every aspect of your life for 2022. What's coming up? What do you need to work on? What's the energy around you? And it's awesome. So I highly recommend booking them up because I usually book out of them. And that's why I'm opening up early this year so I can do that. And that's it. I love you all so much. And I will see you on the next video. Have an incredible rest of your Friday and Self-Care Saturday tomorrow. Yes, love you.